Now, we learned Sunday that Sophia had been dead for a month. She had extreme malnourishment. A Merced police lieutenant says this is the most disturbing and horrific case he has ever seen. The family's lawyer says there were 8 separate referrals to Child and Family Services about abuse of Sophia, but only 3 of those referrals were investigated.
What they said to us and to our family is that there was it was unfounded. All of the complaints, even Sophia's complaints, were unfounded. And now that she's dead, I hope that they can see that every single complaint was founded.
The family of 8-year-old Sophia Mason is seeking answers after the 8-year-old's body was found deceased in a bathtub in Merced, California. After a series of complaints, the girl's aunt and grandmother reported the young girl missing, and that's where police conducted a welfare check in the 500 block of Barclay Way in Merced, California. They knocked at the door, but there was no answer. On March 10th, 2022, they returned with probable cause and a search warrant, and that's when they entered the residence and found the 8-year-old girl's body in a bathtub. The girl had been staying at the residence with her mother, Samantha Johnson, and her mother's boyfriend, Dhante Jackson, and immediately upon finding the girl's body, her mother was arrested in Newark, California on charges of child endangerment. However, Dhante Jackson was nowhere to be found. Once the coroner confirmed that the girl's death was indeed a homicide, they tacked on charges of child endangerment and first-degree murder to her mother, Samantha Johnson. Details of the case came out. According to her mother, the girl was being tortured, physically, sexually abused by the mother's boyfriend. He was making the child live in a shed in the back, little food, little water. The whole situation is just very sickening and disgusting that a woman could allow her child to endure this type of pain, and that this man can physically cause harm to this young girl who is helpless. And now the young girl's family is seeking answers after they constantly reported that the young girl was in danger. The warning started in January 2021 and included accusations that Sophia had been beaten and choked. Each time, Samantha Johnson's sister, Emerald Johnson, which is the young girl's aunt, called the police and social services, they either didn't investigate or found insufficient evidence to remove the child from the home. Last week, the girl's grandmother, Sylvia Johnson, served Alameda County with legal papers signaling an intent to sue over social workers' negligence and alleged repeated failures to save Sophia. Sophia's aunt Emerald stated that her sister, Samantha Johnson, had mild mental health issues and a habit of disappearing. In fact, the girl was raised by her grandmother for the first 7 years of her life until January 2021. Samantha Johnson reappeared and took custody of Sophia. The family claims that Sophia actually spoke with the caseworker in Hayward, California, and told them that she was being abused by her mother and her mother's boyfriend. The caseworker found insufficient evidence according to the legal claim.
Authorities say Sophia was physically and sexually abused and forced to live in a metal shed in the backyard of a house in Merced. Sophia's cousin, Melissa Harris, tells Action News they called caseworkers for help and that Sophia herself even told them she was being abused.
In the times that Sophia herself said that, I am being choked, I'm being hit, that she's not safe, they discounted it. They said, well, maybe you fell off a bike. Hearing her anguish, hearing her fear, they did nothing but return her back to Dhante and Samantha. And as we know, all of it was founded and substantiated because she's no longer with us today.
The family says they decided to take action because they feel the system failed Sophia.
I initiated the legal claim on behalf of my aunt who was unable to.
And Harris says she ultimately hopes this action will be the change system for future children.
We can't bring her back, but what we can do is change the system so this doesn't ever happen again.
Dhante Jackson was able to evade police for 6 months before he was finally captured on September 10th and taken into custody. Police believe he was able to evade so long because he had connections with other people who were helping him out, giving him money, including a woman who he was staying with who goes by the name of Myra Gutierrez. 2 other women were also charged with accessory to murder, 42-year-old Lorena Larkins and 40-year-old Deberka Thompson. Listen as police give an update on the capture of Dhante Jackson, as well as details on the gruesome case and the murder of this little girl. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning. Thanks you everybody for being here. As you're aware, we're here to announce the capture of Dhante Jackson. Dhante Jackson is accused of the brutal and senseless murder of precious 8-year-old Sophia Mason. Early in this case, Merced PD became aware of this investigation as we were reached out to by Hayward Police Department regarding the whereabouts of Sophia Mason. She had been reported missing by her family members in the Bay Area upon learning that her last whereabouts were at a residence in the 500 block of Barclay Way in the city of Merced. Detectives were able to author a search warrant, and they searched the residence, and that's when they discovered the gruesome discovery of Sophia Mason's lifeless body. Sophia's mother, Samantha Johnson, was already in police custody, charged with her murder, and the detectives immediately named Dhante Jackson also as a suspect in Sophia's murder, and that's when the manhunt began. Detectives acted on evidence quickly to track Jackson's location, but he had the help of several people to assist him to elude his capture. Detectives tracked Jackson's movements as he moved continually from Merced through the Bay Area, Southern California, and back to the Bay Area. As I said before, Jackson was able to elude his capture over the last 6 months because he had the help of several female acquaintances. During the investigation, they learned that several of these females had assisted Jackson in eluding capture by providing him with money, shelter, and transportation. Some of those females here are posted on this board here to my left. Those females were arrested and identified as DeBurka Johnson from San Jose, Larona Larkins from Merced, and Myra Gutierrez from Newark. All of them were arrested for accessory to murder after the fact. Through the course of the investigation, detectives learned Sophia was subject to long-term physical abuse by her mother and Jackson. Here are some of the gruesome details detectives learned from this case. There was evidence showing that Sophia was the victim of continuous physical abuse. Sophia had been deceased at the residence in Merced for over a month. Detectives learned that Sophia was forced to live in a shed in the backyard, as well as a closet inside the residence. The coroner determined that the death was a homicide and noted that Sophia's body was malnourished. In my 20 years of law enforcement, this case is the most disturbing and horrific I've seen. To know what that poor little angel went through by the hands of pure evil breaks my heart. Most of us here standing are mothers and fathers, and we cherish our children. We'll never understand how something like this could happen to a beautiful child who just wanted to be loved.
I just want to send my condolences to Sophia's family. To be so young and have something so tragic happen is definitely sickening and heartbreaking. And with that being said, just please love on your loved ones while they're here. If you feel like something is wrong, do not turn a blind eye. If someone says, hey, something's going on, please report it. Her family seems like they did everything that they could, but it just seems like it's another case of the system failing this poor girl. Hopefully, Alameda County will get it together so that stuff like this does not happen to future children. All right, you guys, be blessed.